Hello everyone, this is Robert J. Cuff again with the fourth and final video showcasing the last bit of the presentation that I had made for MiHoYo regarding a toy line for the Honkai Impact 3rd franchise. In this one, I am actually going to go over the fourth and final year that I had created for them, as well as future ideas for other side projects to further bring out what I think this toy line could be and represent for the toy industry and also the anime industry and the franchise in general. So I'm going to go ahead and go right into the fourth year. Now, this is going to be halfway made just because at this point I was running out of Valkyrie. There's plenty more Valkyrie I can add to this, and I was tempted to go ahead and update this I was tempted to update this presentation to show some of the newer outfits and newer battle suits and kind of fully fledged more of year 4. But I figured I'd stop there because I've been meaning to get this out for a while, and to stop and edit and add more to this already massive presentation would delay these videos from getting out even more, and I've been just putting this off too long, trying to get this out and get this in front of MiHoYo. So I went ahead and stopped. Again, this is shortly after Hersher of Thunder came out, so I think there's maybe one or two additional suits that came after Hersher of Thunder that I have in this presentation, but for the most part, that's where I stopped. There are plenty of more suits and outfits to add to this, certainly. But at the same time, this is year 4. If we start making this toy line next year, and next year is going to be when year 1 comes out, we still have another 3 years to get through before we even get to this last leg of the toy line. And by that point, there will be another 3 or 4 years of characters and outfits and suits that we can add to this. On top of that, at this present time, while there are lots of suits to add to this, 2 and actually more like 3 of those suits were based off of crossovers. One was, of course, the Evangelion crossover event. So I don't think we can really go ahead and promote that figure, even though that figure was great. That suit was great. We can't really promote that in this toy line because we need to get the rights from Neon Genesis Evangelion, whoever has those rights. I don't know the name of the company who owns them. But either way, let's go into this here. At the time of writing this, there were only 5 Valkyrie battlesuits left to showcase in this toy line, and 2 of them deserved a deluxe Valkyrie toy set. Now there are more enemies and more side characters to feature, but instead of continuing showcasing recommendations for regular sets, I stopped at set 2. I continued with the recommendations for deluxe figures sets for the year, as well as the 2 boss sets, and even showed the deluxe Hersher of Thunder set. Also recommended deluxe Valkyrie set would be the Bright Knight Excelsius set, because again, Bright Knight Excelsius has those 2 basic entities that kind of help her when she's fighting in the game, and I would like that set to have both of those entities in there. Note, this year's toy line will take place 3 years after the start of the toy line. So that'll mean that there will be 3 years worth of new battlesuits, outfits, enemies, bosses, and side characters to fill up this lineup. As I said before, I probably should have just read what I wrote here. Oh well. After this will be recommendations for optional subsets to consider when going forward with this toy line. So here we have the 4th year first set. We got the Starlit Astrologos, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce it. I do apologize. And then, of course, we have Azure Imperia. And I thought this would be a great place to introduce the post Honkai Odyssey. That's what it's called. I was trying to think of because it's called APHO in the US. So that's a post Honkai Odyssey. Got the main character, which was never really named. We got a new May right there. And we got Carol. Carol was an awesome character, just absolutely awesome. One of my favorites of the series, pretty much. So I thought she really needed to be introduced, and this would be a great point to introduce her. We've also got a couple enemies here. We got the Sakura Guard, which is one of my favorite palette swaps for the original zombie. And then we, of course, have 3 different color palette swaps for the floating Honkai beast right there. And I went ahead and figured, since we don't have any recolors for any of these suits, no palette swaps of anything, we'll go ahead and do a palette swap of one of the villains it comes with the set. I thought that would be really cool. And of course, very minimum as far as weapons. The main character from the APHO will have that weapon that was introduced when he was introduced. I'm not quite sure what weapon what weapon Maiden used. I mean, it's Maiden. Oh my God! Wow. Sorry, I don't know what sword May was using, but I figured I'd go ahead and try to showcase it as best as possible there. And of course, Carol will have her fists. We also have some other recolors here. Now, this is not so much a recolor. We're going to actually start introducing these mechs with the bigger hands, as well as some other variations of these mechs that have been coming out lately. Now, this is going to be the first boss set of this year. We have Asuka, and this is going to, of course, be the combined boss. And yeah, not much, enough said on that one. We got Jizo Mitama, and he's going to come out with that sword because it is literally embedded in him, and that's where it will be. And you'll be able to not only have it inside him and displayed with him, you can also take it out, and other Valkyries can go ahead and hold it. And of course, this is where I went ahead and ended. This is space for future Valkyries. I went ahead and, of course, get another version of this Honkai Beast out there, as well as 3 different versions of those spider bombs. The next set will, of course, have 2 recolors of the Emperor. I went ahead and have them 2 in here because they usually attack you at the same time. You got the flame and frost coming at you, so you got fire and ice, and I thought that would be really good in the set together. And then here is another deluxe set. I thought it'd be a great idea, since I did introduce APHO in this set, to go ahead and introduce some of their bigger bosses. And then the last deluxe set, again, this is kind of a upgrade to this flying mech, as well as the double-fisted Rhyme Titan. And then last but not least, I believe... Oh, these are the Frost versions. Sorry. I was wondering if these were the Frost versions or the... I forgot what they're called. Either way. But we have the Frost versions here for that. The last boss set will be Heimdall in all of his glory. He will also have his shield that will pop up. That's kind of a plastic piece that will fit around him when he slams down. And then, of course, we'll have this MHT3 PAX boss, which honestly I think kind of seems like the oddest out-of-nowhere boss out there. But still, I think it's a pretty cool design, and I think it should be made into a toy. Now, here's that Super Deluxe set with Hersher of the Void. Wow. Hersher of Thunder, again. And, of course, we're going to have those giant floating arms behind her. She's going to have her PRI weapon with a couple other weapons. She's actually going to have a flying mount. It's going to be granted a smaller Veneris. All right, so again, here is going to be future opportunities for the toy line. This section will feature, we'll look at further optional subsets that this toy line can venture into. All these ideas are optional, just as all the toy line organizations showcased in the 4-year plan shown previously. All these are just ideas that, should the toy line be successful, would be great ways for the toy line to branch out to. The first optional idea is in creating a Stigmata figures subset. This subset will feature figures based on the Honkai Impact 3rd's mini Stigmata artwork. This subset will start with 7 single pack figures, and will start with the very first 2-star and 3-star Stigmatas, and will go up from there alphabetically until we reach the 5-star Stigmata. Once we reach the 5-star Stigmata, we will go in the order that those Stigmatas were released in-game, using the in-game Stigmata database as the source for the correct order. This resulted in 8 sets of 7 figures, with more to come for more Stigmata as more Stigmata are made. The time to launch the subset would probably be halfway into year number 2 or 3. Again, I think this is a really cool idea. The Stigmata figure subset will also have a subset within it for all the characters depicted in the Stigmata as having distinctly different outfits in all three Stigmata they appear on. Because of all of these outfits are so distinct and beautiful, it would be a shame to only choose one. This subset will be 3 packs, showing the character in all 3 outfits. There are some exclusions here. Gutov Klimt has 3 different outfits, but they were all dresses with different patterns only. Anna Skariak has 3 different appearances as well, but one of them is her naked in a bathtub, thus only leaving her with 2 outfits. I used both to finish up the last figures for a set of the single pack line. Another subset within this Stigmata set focuses on Stigmata that depict already released characters in different outfits not officially made for the characters in-game. Here are some examples. Cecilia, Sile, and Higoku Maru in the formal set. Kiana, Branya, and Mei in the gift set. The 7 Deadly Sin set, which mentioned with special mention of Fu Hua as Pride and Mei as Wrath. I didn't create the line. I didn't create a line of the Stigmata alternate outfit subset, as these figures don't necessarily need their own line. These figures can be used as future chase figures or special event figures. The Anti-Entropy Christmas Stigmata set would be great for, well, a Christmas figure set. A chibi subset will be based on the chibi subset will be based on the in-game dorm rooms that the players can fill up with chibis of in-game characters and decorate it with various furniture pieces. Again, since there are several ways this subset can be marketed, no recommended lineup was provided. There will also be a possibility of selling the dorm rooms themselves, as well as furniture to decorate them. The last optional idea is a module playset designed for some in-game levels. The focus of this module design is to recreate the library of St. Freya inside and out, as seen in the game of Honkai Impact 3rd. So here we are. This is going and starting off with the Stigmata figure set. Again, we're starting off with the original 2-star figures, going up to 3-star and 4-star. Now, I think it would be really great to have all these characters with the weapons depicted here to be made into the toy line. I think having these characters fleshed out in 3D would be really cool. Because a lot of these characters Now I know, like some characters, like Elizabeth Bathory, does appear in a kind of a side story, like an Elseworld multiverse story. But for the most part, there's not a lot of background on these characters, and I certainly would not only have like these action figures to be made, but also for those backgrounds to be also explored. And again, I do really, really like the artwork for a lot of the Stigmata. And again, I think it would be great to have all these characters available. And I'll kind of go into why a little bit later. Again, I know we have lots of Kellen here, but this is Kellen Pledge, is basically White Nun Kellen. I think that would definitely need to be addressed here because I would love to have that figure. We also got Callan Him. This is basically Callan wearing the Celestial Him battle suit that Teresa has, but of course it's not Teresa, it's Callan. And Higoku Maru, of course, we need a figure for her because she is prevalent. Nuwa Figure Master, just because it's Nuwa half snake. I thought it was kind of cool. And I guess most of these are very, very self-explanatory on why I think they would make a really good set. Benares as a girl, I thought it was really cool as an action figure. And there's those two different versions of Anaskariak at the very end. Again, there's a lot more stigmatas for that, but here we come to the 3-packs. We got Picasso's outfit. She's wearing completely different outfits in all three. Same with Caravaggio and Monet. Edwin Hubble has 3 distinct outfits. Wild, definitely Beethoven as well. Ishikawa Gomen has some fairly complicated outfits that would look really good in 3D. So I thought that would be a great set, as well as Dante and Irene Adler. I thought this would be a great set to have come out at the same time. The basically Entropy band set. And I also know that this set would probably be released at the same time as the Diva set for the main Toyline, considering that these characters would complement those figures so very well. And again, they all had 3 different distinct outfits in each of these stigmatas. Now, here is another, what I had mentioned, the alternate stigmata outfits idea set. Here we have the formal set right here, as well as Prideful Hua. This is Kiana in her Kiana gift set. This was a part of the another. I guess in story it was basically a play based off of I guess kind of a multiverse story. And so there was May as the captured princess and Teresa as the evil queen who had captured her. Now, the other part of this was Fuhua, who was in her knight outfit, which, as you saw in previous videos, was an actual character in the dual sides outfit sets. And of course, we have a bunch of different various outfits for Himiko and certain stigmatas. These are just examples of some great outfits seen in stigmatas that don't have actual costumes in game. An option is to bring these outfits to the toy line. This will allow us to further bolster the toy line with alternate outfits of well-known characters. These outfits can either be made at special events, such as chase figures in the regular line, or even something of their own. This will allow Mahio to earn additional income for these well-designed outfits. All right, and then of course here's the kind of the chibi dorm assortment. Chibis are very popular in the industry right now, and now this is something that I also did notice that MiHoYo is already doing. I think it's a great idea. I honestly think all these characters, all the chibis that have been available in game, need to come out in that set. But I did mention here that the Funko Pop line, for example, is a very successful and popular toy line here in the United States. These chibis don't need any articulation, but I still recommend articulation in the neck. These chibis can be sold in two ways: in a format where the consumer doesn't know what they're getting, basically gotcha style, and then with clear packaging so that the consumer can only buy what they want. So there's two ways you can market it that right there. And then here's what I thought about the play sets. I would really like the idea of being able to purchase each of these dorm rooms and decorate them as need be. The fun part of the dorms is decorating them and watching your Valkyries interact with the environment. These playsets will be blank and scaled to size of the chibis, which I'm thinking will be about 2 to 3 inches tall at most for each chibi. This should keep cost of each room low and allow the consumer to decorate as they please. Now, the biggest issue with this blank slate thing is how to change the colors of the walls, how to change what kind of windows you have, and then of course the how the floor looks. Beyond that, those two options, I think everything else should be customizable. You should be able to buy all these pieces of furniture separately. How you would market that is, truth be told, beyond me, but I think it still would be a good idea and something we can certainly look into. Most likely the floors and wall price will have to be standard unless we can figure out a system of being able to replace those two areas. Also, changing windows may also prove impossible. However, the furniture can either be purchased in sets or online as individual pieces. Due to their size and relative simplicity, each piece shouldn't cost a lot either. We will sell the first 3 dorm rooms before creating the more complex beach house dorm rooms. If the dorm rooms and the furniture sell well, we can certainly add to that line. And now here is the optional Saint Freya module playset. Now, as by far one of the most ambitious one of the more ambitious points of this toy line, it will to attempt to make a module playset that recreates the Saint Freya School of Valkyries, the entire school. The modular will be designed after in-game levels, with special attention to the library, as it's the most featured building in the game. All floors will be broken up into easily assemblable modules that can recreate the library inside and out. Each module can be self-contained and used to display the consumer's Valkyries or brought together to create the whole structure. Now this will require quite a lot of engineering, but we have the hallway leading up to the main room here. Of course, that was we had a level that occurred on that first floor as well as the second floor, and this was actually in just above here. This is the second floor, just above here. And as you can see, there's a lot of details, and we can also add a lot more details too. I'm sure there's some side rooms, like what this room goes to. We can go ahead and figure that out. And then, of course, here's some other pictures of Saint Freya and how we can go and put this together for the larger picture. A large portion of the outside can be made into modular sets. However, the focus at first will be the interior of the library and the circular training ground. The modular design will keep costs low on what would be one of the world's largest playsets. Each modular playset can be displayed as is and will be reasonably priced. If this takes off, it will give consumers a standalone playset for their Valkyries and that look like the levels they played in game. It will also allow for more ambitious consumers to use the module design to create the well-known school. Now, here's the conclusion. I'm going to go in here. All of these are just my ideas for Honkai Impact 3rd that could potentially make one of the greatest toy lines that the world has ever seen. And with the Honkai Impact 3rd being in 92 countries, it should be easy to market these toys to that very large fan base. Just as long as these toys meet each country's guidelines for toys, which should if the games are allowed in unedited. For those that cannot be sold directly, we can always go ahead and they can simply purchase them over the internet. All these are just recommendations. Nothing is set in stone. If we want the figures to come out faster, we can certainly make those adjustments, and slower, we can make those adjustments. We can switch the orders, the weapons, and everything can be changed. This is just a starting point. Once again, my name is Robert J. Cuff. I do have experience in customer service, but I'm trying to get out of that. I also have experience in 3D modeling and texturing, with interest in games, video games, music, anime, action figures, and superheroes. I am also a creative writer in my free time and also a fan, and I'm looking to hopefully make this toy line a reality. Now, a couple other things here, just to kind of back up. There are some other ideas that we haven't gotten into. We do have the elf lineup, which we need to go ahead and introduce to the game, because the elves do assist Valkyries while playing, and so they'd be good to make a set for just the elves, as well as a lot of other ideas. This toy line can also branch out to the very amazing game of Genshin Impact as well. Unfortunately, I do not know that game nearly as well as I know this game. So, but either way, I think that would be another great toy line for another great game. Again, thank you for listening to all this, to all my rant and raving. Here is my bibliography on where I got all these pictures from and all these ideas. Of course, here's the second page as well. If you have any other questions, you can certainly go and ask me down in the comments below. Go ahead and like if you like this video. And, of course, if you have any ideas on how to make this toy line better, just put it down in the comments, and we'll build from that. But I do want to thank you for watching this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.